Digitizing a company has a strong impact on its productivity and profitability. It helps save hours on maintaining, locating, and updating documents. It makes compliance easier, as not having backups of original documents can create serious consequences in case they get lost. It increases flexibility, making remote work possible, and on top of all of that, it reduces the environmental footprint. Typically, companies receive their documents, bills, letters, etc. by email or by mail. Once received, the administrative department manages the documents by dispatching them to the right people. Considering this, let's see how we can manage our documents. So I'm going to jump on over to Odoo. All right, and then I'm going to go to my documents application. And here I have a nice organization of all of my documents. So I have different workspaces, so different folders, and I also have some additional tags that I can create to apply to different documents just to add an extra level of organization, which is really nice. So for example, here I'm in my internal workspace and I see that this document is to validate and also has the legal tag as well. So I can keep an eye on everything that's happening. So that's really nice. All right, but of course I can do some additional things as well. So if I select one of these documents, I'll be able to manage that specific document from these options on the right, such as downloading, sharing, replacing, and even more. So I'll be able to manage that way. But how do I get my documents in Odoo? Well, I can upload them the old-fashioned way by uploading from my device from clicking on the upload button. Or I can also receive documents that are attached to emails. Now that is what I really love to do because I receive a ton of documents by email. So what I've done is actually I've activated an email alias for my finance workspace. All right, to do that, I go to Configuration, Shares and Emails. I'm going to click on the first one that's associated to the workspace finance. And here you're going to see the option upload by email, which I have checked. And that way, when someone sends an email, forwards an email, or sends an email to this email address, that attachment will be received in my Documents app in Odoo. So of course I can edit this email alias. However, I think inbox-financial@mycompany.odoo.com is pretty clear and memorable. So I'm going to leave it like that. And this way, attachments sent to this address are automatically saved under the right folder for the right department, which of course is time saving. Here I have my workspace finance, and I can also say if I would like to add a tag to those attachments as well. Now, for example, an email could be from one of my vendors that I could forward to this email address to add that attachment to Odoo, or to simplify it even more, I can share this email address with the vendor directly so that I don't have to go through the process of forwarding that email to the email address. The vendors can just do it right away, which would be really nice. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. All right, I'm going to send an email to the address. I'm going to say invoice. I'm going to attach an invoice. Okay, let's attach this one here. And we're going to send. Gmail will send. Then we're going to go back to our documents. And again, that alias was for our finance workspace. So it will land here in this folder. Let's just refresh the page to be sure that we have that email. The page is refreshing, and boom, just like that. So it really took a matter of seconds just for the email to be sent from Gmail and received by Odoo. And then I can go ahead and click here and start managing this document, which is so easy. Now, we can receive documents by email, or additional option, I should say, for invoices and documents so on that you receive by post is to scan them. And depending on your device, you can configure your scanner to send the documents to the correct email address. But you don't just have to scan document by document. You can also scan documents in batches and organize that later on in Odoo. So let's go ahead and check out one of these documents that actually is compiled of other documents that I have scanned. So in this document, I have some letters, some invoices that were all received by post, which is why I scan them. But they serve different purposes or for different departments. Therefore, I'm going to use the split tool to separate and aggregate the pages accordingly and send them to the right department. So once I have this selected, I can go ahead and click on split. Okay, so I have all of the pages that are in this document. So all of the pages I scanned, and they're all separated by default already. But to preview the page, I can simply click on it. So I see this is an invoice, this one as well. I have an invoice from Google, and actually this invoice was in 2 pages, but it's split. So to unsplit, I'm simply going to click on the scissors again, and that way those pages will for sure to go together. This last page is just a regular letter though, so I'm going to uncheck that, and I'm going to process it later, but I'm going to process all of the invoices together. So as they're checked, I'm going to click on the action Create Bill, and then I'll be able to process that letter, and I'm going to send that one to legal. All right. So I'm actually going to be able to see those remaining pages, so not the bills, but that letter right away. And I have that tag legal that I added when I processed it, and I can preview this by clicking just like that. So I have that letter. And if I ever need to select multiple documents at once, that's very easy too. I can select just like this, and I can still apply different actions to multiple selected documents. Now, what about those bills that we created? Well, let's go to accounting. We're going to go to vendors and bills. All right, I have a bunch of new draft bills that were created from that document that I just split. So here I have one. I see the bill from Google. And I'm going to use the OCR tool to automatically populate the information. So I'm going to click on refresh here. All right. It may take just a moment to load, but boom, just like that, all of the information is going to be automatically populated based on this file that is associated with this bill. So I have the vendor information, the dates, the total, everything that's matching this bill. I do have a warning saying that this reference has already been used. Excuse me, it's in French. But that's really great for the accounting department because it will prevent them from making any mistakes. So this is a super easy tool, especially for our accountants, and they're going to go ahead and confirm this, and voila, it's done just like that. So we were able to create a vendor bill and confirm it with barely any effort thanks to the OCR and documents. So we just saw that among different things such as receiving documents by email or splitting if we have to scan documents, there were also vendor bills to be processed by accounting. But this isn't all we can do with the documents application. Managing contracts is also part of an administrative department's daily tasks. And because of integration with the Sign application, they can be signed digitally, which is super nice. So we're going to go back to documents. And I'm going to go to all of my documents just to quickly search through all of them. And I'm going to search for a contract. So in this case, the HR needs to send a job contract to be signed. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and select this file. And under my actions, I'm going to see sign. So we're going to click on sign, and I can go ahead and start adding some fields so that my employees or whoever I'm sending the document to can super quickly sign, which we'll see in just a moment. So let's go ahead and add the name field here. Let's make it a little bit longer. All right, we're going to add a date field. For address, I'm just going to add a regular text field. We're going to make that longer as well. I also want to be sure that they're reading these pages because it's important you read all of the pages of a contract, right? So we're going to go ahead and add the initials, and I'm going to go ahead and add this to all of the pages. So I can add initials on specific pages if some are particularly important. But in this case, I do want to add it to all pages. Then I'm going to go to the bottom and I'm going to add a signature and the date again. Okay, so once it's done, once I've dragged and dropped a few fields, which was very simple, I'm going to go ahead and send this to one of our employees. So we're going to click on send. And of course, I do have the option to sign now as well, but we're going to send. Let's add our email. Okay, I can add an extra message if I would like to. I'm going to create this contact and we're going to send. Now, if I pop on over to my email, I should receive the signature request, which I did in not even a matter of seconds. It was super fast. And then we can go ahead and sign the document. All right, so I can click to start. Odoo makes it very easy. It will automatically populate some information that can be 123 Rue de Street, my real address, of course. Let's go to next. Let's add our initials. I'm going to draw my initials, adopt and sign. Next, Odoo will remember the initials that I just created. So we're going to go ahead, add those to all of the pages. And lastly, I'm going to add my signature. And I'm going to validate and send the completed document. Once it's validated, I can go ahead and view it. But let's view it in Odoo. So we're going to go back to documents. And just like that, that employee contract has been added to the document. So I don't have to do anything extra, anything special. I'm going to already have that document right here, which we can preview and check out the signature and everything just like that. How easy is that? Now, sign again is just one of the many possible actions that we have, but we can also create tasks from a document or request approvals and so much more. So, for example, we're going to jump back to Odoo. Okay, I'm going to go to one of my documents, remove my filter here. We'll go to this one here, and I'm going to go to Actions, and I'm going to create a task. Okay, this task will be added to one of my projects in the Projects application. So let's click on Edit. I'm going to create a new project on the fly. And we're going to choose a customer. I can add a description, a deadline. Let's add a couple days from now, tags, and so on. So I can really edit this task exactly how I need to be for the correct project, and I can manage that directly from documents. So I don't have to go to project, then create a task, then add the attachment. I can do that directly from documents, and we have that attachment right here, which again, documents is such a great app for time saving. It just saves the administrative department so much time, and time is money. In addition to the standard options, you can create more and other actions according to your specific needs by going to Configuration Workspaces. So let's see that in Odoo. Depending on the workspace, let's choose internal. You'll have different actions and you can easily create more. So I'm just going to quickly go back. I went to internal and I clicked on the smart button here, Actions. All right, and for this workspace, we have a lot of different actions, but we're going to create a new one now. And so first of all, we need to have an action name. So I'm going to call this Schedule Activity. All right, it's related to this workspace. I can change that on the fly if I need to. And I'm going to say it contains the tags, presentations, and I'm going to go to Actions. I'm going to move it to Workspace Marketing. And I'm also going to schedule an activity as well with this action. So we're going to say email. I can add a due date. I can say that the activity will be for the document owner, or I can add a specific responsible. I can add a summary activity note. So there are a lot of options here that you can do based on what you need, what your business needs. So let's go ahead and save this. All right, and we're going to go back to internal. We're going to go back to our documents. Here I'm still in the configuration, but we're going to go back to documents. Here I have something with the presentations tag. So I'm going to be able to use that action that I just created, schedule activity. So we'll see that it is no longer in this workspace, but if I go to marketing, we're going to see that it has been moved. So with just a click, I was able to move this and schedule an activity at the same time, which I have right here, which I can view right here. So it's just as simple as that. Becoming paperless and fully digital is the new norm.